Wasn't sure because I wasn't seeing the volume slider move. All right. So welcome everybody to this developer update of April 26th. We're going to be looking at some of the changes we're doing for the Forge, and talking about the last couple of weeks, some of the issues we've had, and what we can look forward to in the future. So let's get started. Let me see. The first thing that I would like to touch upon, I don't know if I should actually wait for people to start joining before we get to the main subjects, or if it's okay. I mean, we will have VOD, so it's not going to be that much of an issue. But anyway, one of the issues that I want to touch on is some of the problems we've had in the recent weeks with regards to the service starting to get laggy, slow for some people, or just unable to connect to their games. So this has been a problem that has slowly become more and more visible, and it started about 3 weeks ago, I think. Just the last couple of weeks have been rather bad, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people have noticed that, unfortunately. Hi, Clayton Thompson and Sakishi. Hi. Sorry. So, just taking some water. So I do want to touch on that, as I have told people on Friday, or I think Thursday. I want to address this issue, and I want to write a detailed technical post about what the problem is, and how we are working to fix that. I have not had the time to write a very technical report on everything that has affected the service, though I have started working writing that, and I should finish it and post it in our forums by the end of the day. But I'll talk about it during the stream, obviously. So one of the issues, and the biggest issue, is that our service provider, who some of you might know is DigitalOcean, has been having a ton of issues. Unfortunately, that is outside of our control. They overcommit, unfortunately, so their servers, the shared servers, are suddenly unable to accommodate all of their customers. So we go from having a CPU load that is under 1, and it suddenly shoots up to 30, 40 as a CPU load, which is absolutely ridiculous. So instead of things being slightly slower, they just become completely unusable. We usually have 20 milliseconds to handle a request, and it starts to get around 30 or 40 milliseconds when things are slow, which is, you know, barely noticeable, or not at all noticeable by most people. But then with the issues with DigitalOcean, our requests are getting handled in 30 to 40 seconds, 50 seconds even sometimes, and some of those requests even over 2 minutes. So they are simply timing out, and that has been the problem that we've been having, unfortunately. So what happens is that when you have a game that starts to become too slow, what you do is you refresh the page, and when you do that, just causes a sort of denial of service because everybody's reloading their pages at the same time, but the server is not able to accommodate those requests, so it just makes it even harder to get out of that state. And so that's what we've seen in the last few weeks, and it has increased in frequency, unfortunately, and it has become to the point where I simply cannot trust DigitalOcean to be providing the service that we want them to provide. What I have done, however, in the meantime, is to pay for dedicated servers that are much more expensive, and more expensive than they should be, unfortunately. But that has thankfully fixed that major problem that we've seen with them. And from there, this is a temporary and unfortunately expensive solution for us to just make sure that our customers are having the service that they want to have, which is a responsive and fast game, right? Apart from that, what we are working on is to move our infrastructure to a different service provider, one that I would feel is able to accommodate our large customer base and be able to support all our requests without any slowdowns. I am still looking at the various options. I am still evaluating the various service providers, trying to see which ones would work well for us. So it will take a little bit of time, but I am confident that we will be able to do the migration from the DigitalOcean data centers to another data center within the next few weeks, most likely, and I do not anticipate any downtime. I will make sure that this migration happens with zero downtime, zero maintenance window, and it will just be seamless, so nobody will be affected by it. I have worked in the past, almost a year ago, when I moved from another service provider moving to DigitalOcean. I had worked already on making sure that I was able to do a migration without downtime, so I know that it is possible, and I will be making sure that it happens. Other than that, there are other issues that have been affecting the service, other than the DigitalOcean servers being unable to handle the requests that they are supposed to. There was also one crash that we had with the storage cluster on Friday, I believe, and the load balancer. Those are extremely rare occurrences, but they do happen. It is possible that they are affected by the very issues that we're having with the DigitalOcean servers, so that is a possibility. One problem is that with Foundry being a single process that needs to exist for your game, it makes it very difficult to compensate if a server does not have access to the resources it should have, because we can't just redirect it to a different server that is healthy. We have to use the exact instance that is reserved for your game. So that has been a bit challenging to work with. But other than that, I think we are on a good path of solving these issues. We've had a few problems on Saturday that were mostly about tweaking, fine-tuning some of the new Kubernetes-based infrastructure. And after the changes that I did on Sunday, everything went very smoothly. I haven't heard of anyone complaining about slowdowns, and that went well. I just got scared because someone followed. Thank you for the follow, but that scared me because my volume was a bit too high. So there it is. Forgotten Guardian, thank you for following. All right. With that out of the way, let's get to the more fun aspects of this dev update. So we wanted to showcase a few new additions to the Bazaar Um, so last time, 2 weeks ago, I had showed you the D&D Beyond integration that we have made available as a beta service. Um, I did do as promised, and I did make it available and released it the following day. So that went really well. I've heard really good feedback from it. I think people knowing what to expect from it and what doesn't work has also helped make sure that people um, don't have the issue of thinking that it is as complete as I would wish it to be. So people know that it's a beta, and with that in mind, I have received really good feedback, so I'm really happy with that, and I can work a bit more on implementing the missing changes. I also want to start working on the walling information for adventures. So that's all going to be happening within the next couple of weeks, hopefully before the next dev update. I think we'll be doing every 2 weeks a dev update stream. Hopefully that's not too frequent, and we'll have lots of new stuff to talk about. But today I wanted to show some of the content from the Bazaar. So we have a few new releases. Limitron's Guide to Naval Combat, for example, which is pretty great content. And Mad Cartographer has released some new stuff as well. And I want to show you today classic dungeons from the Mad Cartographer, as well as some other content. Let me just keep the Bazaar open in another tab. So we've prepared this world to show you some of the content. This is one of the dungeons. So of course you would open manage modules, you would install those modules and then enable them, and you'll get access to those compendiums here. So you can see the Mad Cartographer has some playlists, some scenes, journal entries, and you can see there's plenty of dungeons to choose from. This is just from the classic dungeons map pack of the Mad Cartographer, and we have imported these. So this is a water dungeon, and I absolutely love the water effect, the animation here on the water effect in the dungeon. And we've also done, so you can see here, these are the droplets, and these even more droplets here that we've put on these two chambers, and these are coming from, let me show you here, from the Bazaar, the weather overlays by Dungeon Channel, I mean, and they have fog, rain, snow, and dust for the weather effects, and they are very easy to install on the Forge. Of course, just click the enable button once you've purchased the weather effects, the weather overlays, and then just going to the tiles layer, you can go to the Bazaar, assets, weather overlays, and then you can select. So let's take some snow. Let's see, just with the file name. These are animated, so you can't preview them, but you can just drag and drop, and there you have your weather snow overlay on top of your map. Snowing from the top, and then you can just scale it to the chamber, just like that, and you get your beautiful snow. And in the case of this dungeon, we've chosen some droplets that go well with the water dungeon, and here even more droplets. That just makes this map absolutely beautiful by using both of them at the same time. And we're also going to show you magic items, Eldritch Armor. Let me see. That's going to be from a module, um, from the marketplace. Oh, and the classic dungeons from Meta Cartographer is currently on sale, so you should get that while it's still on sale. Let me just search for Eldritch. There it is. So Magic Items Volume 1, Eldritch or Horror by Agent Mad and Mr. Vox. So those are collections of magic items that you can use in your games. They are very easy to just grab. So you can see here you have 31 pieces of art, 73 items, so you have variants. And let me see, I found some that look really cool that you can use along with this water dungeon. So you have the Ring of the Sunken King, and maybe, you know, there's an elixir hidden at the bottom of the water that you can pick. And you can see the artwork is really absolutely gorgeous. It's really beautiful, and you can see that. You can show the art to your players, obviously show to the players, and you can see it's well detailed, and you have all the information in these ready to use items. So you can see all the items in the compendium, and there's also a compendium with variants for each of those, so you can have the variants. That's a good question, Alaric. No sort by price. That's a suggestion. Please post it in the feature suggestion on Discord. I believe you know where it is. Let me see. Let's switch to the Temple of the Sun, which I found to be really cool. You can see here dust. We added some dust as well from the same weather overlays of our good friend here. Let me see, there's dust, and you have a few packs here for the dust. So we added some dust that goes well with this dungeon, and this one is really nice because it has a puzzle that can go along with it. And with the compendium, there's a journal entry that can explain also how it works, and you can see. So if I just select this, oh, music, so I can move this, and then I would be able to move this this one and use it to redirect the light. And it's a puzzle that is really great for your players to try and find the mirrors and use them to be able to open the path to the sarcophagus using the light. So I think it's really neat and cool, and I hope you can play with it and enjoy it, and maybe include some cool weapons, or Dead Man's Chalice. That one would be really good to go along with the sarcophagus as your items. Yeah, the mirror stuff is really cool. So it's using token attacher. Ooh, the music is eerie. It's using token attacher to attach basically a wall to each of these, along with a light source, so you can toggle the light hitting. So this way, you know, when you move this, the light just stops at the wall, and then you can rotate it when it hits it, and it's really well done. I like it. Oh, you don't hear the music? How come you don't hear the music? Let me see. How about this? Can you hear it now? Yeah, it is a clever use of the wall system. I was wondering, like, how come it's doing that? But anyway, so yeah, that's a really cool map, and you can use dungeon channels, weather overlays with it, like we did here with the dust, and it works really well, just like we used the droplets from in the water dungeon, and merge that along with the Loot Tavern Eldritch Horror magical items. So there you go. Apart from that, we do have an update that I want to show you of a new feature that I hoped to have released by now, but it has not yet been released because with the recent issues, I've had other higher priorities, of course, but it is something that has that we have been working on for the last couple of months. Evan, those who know him as Irrational, who has been who has worked on a few very well-known Foundry modules, such as Combat Utility Belt and what's it called? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Okay, let me just look for Irrational. Whoops, Evan then. Oh, because I'm in the marketplace. Okay, there you go. So, Pincushion, Maestro, Combat Carousel, and Combat Utility Belt. Those are the ones that I was trying to remember. I didn't know he did you this. I didn't remember that. But yeah, so Evan has been working on adding asset synchronization to the Forge, which is something that we've been wanting for a while, and it has been often requested. And one of the challenges was that we don't want you to download your entire assets library every single time. So we've designed a an algorithm that makes it just synchronize by using as little bandwidth as possible when it's not necessary. So it will basically do a mapping of your local files and your Forge remote assets, and then synchronize only the files that aren't there locally, and you can tell it to overwrite mismatch file local files. This is to basically say, well, if you have a local file that does not match the one that is on the Forge, then overwrite it instead of basically keeping your local files intact and just adding new files or modified files. If your synchronization doesn't seem to work because you've made some changes locally and remotely, then you can check re-verify local cache and things like that. And so there's a few options that lets you control how the synchronization happens. And you can see this is going really fast, and there's currently no download or upload that is happening because the files are matching. If there's an upload that happens, you would see the notification at the top that says file has been uploaded. So we're just gonna let it go. And soon, this is still something that we are currently working on, is the ability for the actual world to be at the same time modified. So the world can work in an offline manner. So it would be a sort of make available offline, where it would replace all the links in the so let's say this one here, I don't know, oh no, that's not an export, this is a local world. But yeah, let's say you have a scene that uses an asset library, then it's not just a matter of downloading the image, it's also a matter of changing the URL that you would see here, so it points to the local file instead of the assets library file. So this is coming soon. It's not going to be released right now, but it's coming soon, and once we have that, then you would be able to do your synchronization and export your worlds and be able to run your games in an offline manner. So I think people are going to be really happy about this. So as you can see, it works, or at least it looks like it works. But yeah, I'm telling you, it works. And I am expecting the release to be happening sometime this week. So very, very soon you'll be able to do this, and at least be able to have that peace of mind of knowing that your assets are saved locally, and that even if the forge is not available, or you don't have internet or something like that, then your files are available to you. So you can see now it started to upload some files because it noticed that some of the files are not locally available. So now it's downloading and uploading them. So you can see it slowed down, and you can see that it's currently uploading files. So there you go. And the next time that you would be doing the same synchronization, it's just going to be just as fast, just going through all the files that you don't need to be downloading. So yeah, that's the feature I wanted to show. Let me see, there's some messages on the chat here. Here it comes. Looks to be evident right now. Buzz doesn't even remember what he's done. Yeah. Why this method instead of simply allowing export assets with world export? I get that this seems better overall. The reason I didn't want to do export assets at the same time is because in my mind, you play, and every week you're gonna have a game, and every week you want to export your game, right, to create a backup of it. And so if you have a game that uses 1 gig of assets, you don't want to be downloading 1 gigabyte every single week when the only things that changed are a few kilobytes. So that's basically the reason. I think the purpose here is to have it sort of like Dropbox, right? You have your Dropbox folder, you open your computer, and there were changes that you did from another computer, and then it just synchronizes those changes. You're not re-downloading your entire Dropbox folder every time you open your computer. So that's the way I see it. It does not work both ways. It's only a download from the Forge to local. The both ways is going to be about using the import wizard, right? So if you make changes, then you use the import wizard, and that's it. And then if you want to export, then you would use the export. So the way that the asset sync works is really simple. You know, you're going to go to your Forge account, then you're going to do open the API key manager, and then generate a new key, and take that key, close, going to the module settings. So you need to have the Forge module installed and enabled in your local foundry, and so you would go paste the key. Whoops, that is not what I was supposed to be copying. So copy this, paste the API key here, and then open the asset sync, and save your changes, open the asset sync, and do your synchronization. Yeah, Dungeon Channel. Having an incremental backup would be really nice. I already do use those internally. It's not really meant for the users at this time, but it is something that would be nice to be able to do for the backup of the worlds. I think the export being small, like most worlds are in the 10 megabytes range usually, and then you zip them, that's even less. So it's not a big deal, and I'm worried with incremental backups that it might make it more complicated for non savvy users who would find it easier to just unzip a file rather than try to get the changes through multiple levels of incremental backups. So for the world itself, I'm talking. But yeah, for the assets sync itself, it's um, it's sort of like incremental. It's a bit different. Um, but yeah, uh, it basically does a sort of I'm forgetting the word, but it basically checks the Forge assets online, and then builds a local inventory, and it has a cache that a cached file that it uses to map the uh, the remote files with the local files. Yeah, the sync. And so using that, it can see which files have changed either locally or remotely since the last sync, and um, it can verify all of that. Eventually, we'd like to have a more um, uh, fleshed out UI. Right now, it's relatively simple, but yeah, it would be nice to be able to prepare sync or whatever. Like you open it and it would just show you, here are the files that were modified remotely, here are the files that were modified locally, and then you can see, oh no, don't overwrite this one, but you can overwrite the rest, and things like that. That would be really sweet. So I'd like to have that eventually. But for now, we're just trying to make it work so that people can have a backup of their assets files without using like web crawlers or whatever to achieve that. And yeah, I mean, the UI is looks fine. I'm just talking about like having more features in it, you know. Yeah, so that's the big feature I wanted to announce. Will be released sometime this week, hopefully. And we're still working on it. Just the finishing touches, a little bit of polish, and then we'll do a release. I mean, the Forge module is already out. It just needs the update to have that asset sync in it. That's about it, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all. That's all that I wanted to mention. We can get to the. Let me just reset my API keys before someone copies that one. So there you go. That one is invalid now. So if there are any questions, let's. What green screen usage? Yeah. All right. Any questions, my friends? I'm actually going to post in the chat the links to the stuff that I showcased from the Bazaar earlier. So you have the classic dungeons battle maps pack by the Mad Cartographer, and then we had the weather overlay by Dungeon Channel. Who is here with us? There it is. And finally, we showed Loot Tavern's Magic Items, Volume 1, Eldritch Horrors, which I think is also on sale right now. No timeline specified for the server hosting switch, but things have been fixed right now, so it's not going to be affecting people so much, whether it happens next week or a few weeks from now, because I've took some measures to prevent those issues that we've seen so far from happening again by switching to higher and more expensive servers that sorry, that are currently doing the job. Um, but yeah, I need to switch to a new provider that is actually able to provide the service that we pay for, without forcing us to move to overpriced servers as a sort of blackmail. I feel personally that's the kind of feeling that I'm having, which is why I'm very unhappy with the way that that service has been. I mean, we've been with them for I think a year now, no real issues, and then it just started happening. And the only way to get the service that we're supposed to be having was to suddenly triple or even more than that our server costs. And I don't want to be increasing my costs to my prices to the users. So yeah, did the screen just go black? I think my Chrome just had a little bug. Completely understood. I'm also on Dio looking to upgrade to dedicated CPU, but the price difference is steep. Yeah, the price is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, their pricing is more expensive than anywhere else, and it's like you're supposed to be getting a good service from shared, because I mean, most of my servers only use maybe 10% CPU, right? So shared is way more than enough. And like I said, I have a CPU load of under 1 usually, so it's not even very CPU intensive. So shared CPU is more than enough. So you have that 5-10% margin where the CPU might be used by noisy neighbors, so it affects you. And dedicated CPU should only really be useful if you want to do, I don't know, deep learning neural network or video compression and things like that. I totally understand that for those needs, but if it's just to get basic service, you know, for a simple 20 millisecond request not to take over a minute, then I mean, it's not shared CPU, it's non-existent CPU at that point. So that's just bad service, and having to pay 3 times the price just to get service at all, it's not acceptable in my opinion. And I have found plenty of other service providers that offer dedicated for the same price as what DigitalOcean is offering as shared. So, you know, the DigitalOcean is very well known, so they pay more on their marketing, it feels like, than on upgrading their machines. And I think they rely a little bit too much on expecting people to be tied in with them. So, you know, you're on DigitalOcean now, you can't go somewhere else, or it would be more trouble for you to go somewhere else than just start paying them more. And that's where they get their money, I guess. The traffic always increases, but there hasn't been like a huge surge of traffic suddenly. No. The thing that started to change is, like, I would see in like I use HTOP, which shows me how often, like, the percentage of the CPU that gets stolen by the hypervisor for another virtual machine. So usually it's like 1 bar, maybe 2 bars. So maybe 2, 5, maybe 10% maximum. But recently it just started to be for hours on end, like 90% is completely taken by the hypervisor. So the machine is completely unusable. So even, you know, even if I have very, very little traffic, the website would just be non-functional because the servers are unusable. Right? So that's the problem. What did Larek say? Maybe you should create a dummy process that reports itself as using more CPU to the provider, thereby leaving it to yourself for when you need it. Well, I'm pretty sure that would be against their terms of service, but even if I did that, the problem is that you cannot use the CPU, it just gets stolen from you. I don't think it's a matter of reserving the CPU to use by something else. It's just not going to do anything, unfortunately. So yeah. Any other questions? I'm still hearing the music from this thing. Eerie little music. I really love this rain effect, and it goes so well with the rest of this dungeon. The water reflection here just makes it beautiful. Then you go into this room that you have to wonder, where is the rain coming from? What you describe seems quite strange. Certainly something to talk to Dio about. Yes, it is definitely quite strange. It's basically they overcommit, right? So they have 100 CPUs and they are selling 300 CPUs for people. Technically, that should not be the case. Technically, if they wanted to overcommit, and that's understandable in the shared context, they would overcommit by a margin that leaves it functional, but they're not. So, yeah. Yeah, Dungeon Channel, you did a really good job on those. I've looked at the snow as well, the storm. They are really good. And I know that they are supposed technically to be used outside because it's weather effects, but still. The fog one looked nice as well. I did use some fog. This one is huge. I don't know how it works with having fog and... Okay, let's do it here instead. Now I don't know if the swirling is part of... anyway. Yeah. Okay. It might have something to do with their latest CPU upgrade. They are now offering premium Intel and AMD CPUs for shared, which are barely more expensive and according to benchmark definitely better than usual. It's also worth taking a look at. Yes, I did take a look at those. I didn't think about it being related actually, but I did take a look at those, and I had the same overcommitment issue of the CPU being stolen on those premium premium ones. Which I found weird, but I guess I don't know. But they've been doing a lot of maintenance, network maintenance, and upgrades and things like that. But I haven't really seen much in terms of upgrade. Just the oh, we're improving our network, but after they do the changes, it's just worse than before or something. I don't know. Do they double as general effects too, or just health? I don't know about that. I think Dungeon Channel might be able to answer you more on that. You have your weather effects here, but that's not it. I think they're just tiles that you can set on your map, which I think works well. Yeah, that's what I thought. I want to reopen that Ring of the Sunken King. I don't know, there's something about this ring that just... I love the art. Reminds me a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean with the I think it's called barnacles. Yeah, the no, I'm not sure actually. I don't remember. Yeah, no, I think it uses Pixie. I know that someone else had done effects that uses CSS only, um, but I think the core ones use Pixie indeed. Yeah, because when you zoom in, it changes the zoom level on those effects. So anyway, that's it. I think we're gonna call it a day. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching the stream. If you have any more questions, you can pop in on Discord and ask them, and we'll be happy to answer you. Um, Alaric might be there to answer instead of asking questions as well, because he's one of the moderators. And um, what? Yeah, and I hope you liked seeing the asset sync feature that's coming soon, as well as the amazing work by uh, these Bazaar artists. And yeah, see you next time. Hopefully, I guess in 2 weeks. Hopefully, with an update on more of these awesome features. Alright, I shall be signing off. Thank you, Alaric. Let me see, I have an ending. There it is. Thanks, Dungeon Channel. Cheers. And thanks, everybody else. Bye bye.